Good evening.
Braden here. This American salesman should be reported. In this lesson, you'll learn about reported speech and about transportation companies.
This conversation takes place in the evening at the transportation company's office.
And it's between Sarah and the transportation salesman.
Sarah and the transportation salesman have been negotiating for a while, and Sarah is getting tired.
Let's listen to the conversation.
I apologize, sir, but I see it differently.
Well, Ms., up to a point, I agree with you. But as I was saying, if I rent out 6 vans to you for that price, I'm going to be paying you to take my vans.
I'm sure it may seem that way at first glance. However, we will not be using any of your drivers, and the university already pays for the insurance. The gasoline is also part of our budget, and we'll pay for that.
That is a bit different. And you said it's next month?
Yes, the first week of March. That's about 3 weeks away now.
So, you do mean that you're only going to be renting the vehicles themselves. You don't need any kind of assistance to transport your delegates.
Yes, that's true. And just so we're clear, we're going to need them starting at 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning until Saturday morning at 10.
I'm going to have to charge for all of Saturday.
The last company I spoke with said they charged in 6-hour intervals, so as long as we had them returned by noon, we wouldn't have to pay the entire Saturday.
In this lesson, we wanted to talk a little bit about transportation companies.
Transportation is defined as the movement of objects from one location to another. A transportation company is an organization that specializes in transportation.
In the dialogue, the transportation company with whom Sarah is negotiating seems to be misunderstanding the services that Sarah is requesting.
In the United States, most transportation companies are full service, which means that within their field of transportation, they provide all the services necessary for the execution of the contract.
In this case, the transportation company provides not only the vehicle, but also the driver, the gasoline, and the insurance.
Sarah, because she is on a limited budget, is negotiating for the lowest price possible. However, there is some confusion as to what services Sarah is negotiating for, and there is disagreement.
Once Sarah clarifies that all they really need are the vehicles, and that all the other necessary parts of transportation are being taken care of by the university, the transportation manager realizes that the prices being offered are in fact reasonable. Let's take a look at the vocabulary for this lesson. The first word we'll look at is
Apologize.
express regret for something that one has done wrong.
Apologize. Apologize.
Our second word is
Transportation.
process of being transported.
Transportation. Transportation.
Our third word is
Differently.
not the same as another or each other.
Differently. Differently.
Next we have
Point.
a critical or decisive position.
Point. Point.
Next is
Van.
vehicle used to transport multiple passengers.
Van. Van.
Next is
Clear.
easy to perceive, understand, or interpret.
Clear. Clear.
Next is
Glance.
take a brief or hurried look.
Glance. Glance.
Next is
Insurance.
agreement where a person makes payments to a company in promise that the company will pay money in the case of injury or some other thing agreed upon.
Insurance. Insurance.
And our last word is
Vehicles.
things used for transporting people or goods, especially a car, truck, or cart.
Vehicles. Vehicles.
Let's have a closer look at the usage for some of the words and phrases from this lesson.
In the dialogue, we heard phrases that demonstrated disagreeing.
Specifically, Sarah said, "I apologize, sir, but I see it differently."
This is a very direct phrase, and we can guess from the politeness that Sarah has shown in previous dialogues that she is a bit irritated with this man.
Soon after that, the man says, "Well, miss, up to a point, I agree with you, but..." Here, he probably noticed her irritation and agreed with her in order to soften things a bit. The "up to a point" refers to a certain point or position in her explanation.
Another phrase that's used to show disagreement is, "I'm afraid I can't agree." This is a polite phrase, however, it is direct. Notice how a negated positive is used, "I can't agree," instead of a direct negative, "I disagree." This is a softer way of expressing disagreement or failure to agree.
Could you break this down for us?
I apologize, sir, but I see it differently.
And one time fast.
I apologize, sir, but I see it differently.
Next, we'll look at phrases that demonstrated asking for verification. In the dialogue, the transportation salesman said, "And you said it's next month?"
Usually, when you ask for verification, you state the information you want verified and then ask them if what you said is correct.
It's a common technique to rephrase or reform the information when you ask for verification. This helps you and the listener be certain that you understood correctly.
Another way to ask for verification is with the phrase, "Do you mean that?" Here, the request for verification comes before the information to be verified.
Could you break this last phrase down for us?
Do you mean that?
And one time fast.
Do you mean that?
Perfect. Let's take a look at the grammar point.
The focus of this lesson is reported speech.
In the dialogue, we heard the phrase,
"And you said it's next month?"
As a quick review, reported speech requires a past tense called the past simple, the past perfect, the perfect past, or the simple past.
When using reported speech, most students originally learn to use said and told.
For example, John told me he was going to stay late at work. Or Peter said he wanted to visit his parents that weekend.
These forms are perfectly correct for reporting what others have said.
However, there are a number of other reporting verbs which can more accurately describe the situation.
These verbs take a variety of structures. In this lesson, we'll go through several of these reporting verbs in various categories based on sentence structure.
Be aware that a number of verbs can take more than one form.
We have built the table and placed it in the PDF with 28 verbs that can be used in reported speech.
However, in the interest of time, we'll only look at 9 of the most common verbs.
First, to invite. A sample sentence would be, "They invited all their friends to attend the presentation."
Second, to offer. A sample sentence would be, "She offered to give him a lift to work."
Third, to agree. An example would be, "She agreed that we needed to reconsider our plans."
Fourth, to deny. Sample sentence, "He denied having anything to do with her."
Fifth, to blame. Sample sentence, "She blamed her husband for missing the train."
Sixth, to apologize for. Sample sentence, "He apologized for being late."
Seventh, to encourage. Sample sentence, "Dustin encouraged me to find a new job."
Eighth, to deny. Sample sentence, "Alex denied that he had tried to leave early."
Ninth, to suggest. Sample sentence, "Ian suggested studying early in the morning."
That just about does it for today. Thanks for listening.
Bye. I apologize, sir, but I see it differently.
Well, Ms., up to a point, I agree with you. But as I was saying, if I rent out 6 vans to you for that price, I'm going to be paying you to take my vans.
I'm sure it may seem that way at first glance. However, we will not be using any of your drivers, and the university already pays for the insurance. The gasoline is also part of our budget, and we'll pay for that.
That is a bit different. And you said it's next month?
Yes, the first week of March. That's about 3 weeks away now.
So, you do mean that you're only going to be renting the vehicles themselves. You don't need any kind of assistance to transport your delegates.
Yes, that's true. And just so we're clear, we're going to need them starting at 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning until Saturday morning at 10.
I'm going to have to charge for all of Saturday.
The last company I spoke with said they charged in 6-hour intervals. So as long as we had them returned by noon, we wouldn't have to pay the entire Saturday.